Can someone share the framework for pros and cons? So for pros, you will be following the temporal approach: policy formulation, implementation, monitoring. And for cons, you will be following 3F: fund, function, functionaries. So analyze the role of the local bodies in providing good governance at the local level. Highlight the pros and cons. So what is the demand of this question? Yes. What is the demand? What did I say? What do you focus upon when I ask you the demand? Yes. So what is mean by the... Yes. So what is the implication of analyze? Yes. 50-50. That means analyze the role of local bodies in providing good governance at local level. That means you have to highlight the positive role and you have to highlight the negative role. So here you have two demands, demand 1 and demand 2. Second, you have pros and cons. This is your demand 3, demand 4. Right? So you have only 2 pages. So remember that for 10 marker question, generally you have only 2 demands. Okay, but in case there are more demands, in that case shift to the tabular format. Okay, so what will be the introduction for this question? Yes, the 73rd and 74th amendment provides for the PRIs and ULB as the instrument of local self-governance. Local self, historical perspective also, yes, you can give. 11th and 12th schedule, district planning committee. No, you can't start with district planning committee or 11th or 12th schedule. Okay, 11th or 12th schedule is specifically with respect to the functions. So if the question is with respect to the functions of the local bodies, then you can start with 11th, 12th schedule. Okay? Then they have asked you the role in providing good governance. Now remember the framework for this. Okay, so whenever, just say for example, I had given you the... Yes. So I had given you one framework with respect to inclusive growth. So what was the question with respect to inclusive growth? What was the framework with respect to inclusive growth, or the core pillars of the inclusive growth? The 4 important pillars of the inclusive growth: social, political, economic and environmental. Okay. Similarly, you have 8 parameters of the good governance given by World Bank. Right? What are those 8 parameters? Yes, it is accountability, transparency, okay, responsiveness, then equity, efficiency, participatory, consensus oriented and rule of law. Okay, remember this framework. Yes. So whenever you get any question with respect to good governance, these points will be your subheadings. Okay. So role in good governance: positive, negative. Okay, so what are the principles of good governance? One is consent, participatory. That means decentralization based on principle of... Yes, based on principle of... Come on here. Subsidiarity. Yes. And what is the example of it? So simply you mention any of the provisions with respect to panchayats. The structure of the good governance is very simple. So for any question on good governance, you use the 8 parameters of the good governance. You think from that perspective, and automatically your points will be generated. So decentralization based upon principle of subsidiarity. The example of it is 11th and 12th schedule. Okay. So what is the issue with respect to this? Yes. So it is voluntary provision based upon with powers to state legislature. Voluntary transfer of power. Okay. No state legislature has transferred all powers. Okay, so one aspect, that is the participation is done. What is the next pillar of the good governance? Consensus oriented, right? So consensus based decision making. What is the example of this? Gram Sabha. And what is the issue of with respect to this? Yes. Yes. Infrequent meetings. Okay. Meetings. What is the next pillar with respect to the good governance? Yes. What is the next pillar? Transparency and accountability. Example. Transparency and accountability. What is the example? Social audit of Manrega. Right? Okay, what is the issue with respect to this? Yes, Ankit, good. Social audit under Manrega, good. What is the issue with respect to this? Yes. So lack of access to information and capacity building. Or you can write access to information and support from bureaucracy. Yes. So one more point. Yes, data discrepancy is also there. Good. Yes, lack of action on social audit reports also. Yes. What else? Rule of law. ठीक है, कैसे पॉइंट जनरेट करोगे? रूल ऑफ लॉ 8 है, हमें 4 ही चाहिए, दूसरा बोलो. We need only 4. Yes. What is the next pillar of the good governance? Yes. One is the efficiency, other is the equity. Right? तो दोनों को एक ही करो. Equity and efficiency. What is the example of this? What is the example of equity? Yes. Women reservation. What is the example of efficiency? Yes. PM Awas Yojana. Okay. The identification of the beneficiaries or the model of construction of the house was determined by PRS. Okay. And what is the issue with respect to this? Sarpanch Pati. And digital divide. ठीक है. Now बस इतने 4 and 4 8 points are sufficient for analysis. ठीक है. Now अब इसमें we are missing a very fundamental issue in this. ठीक है. We are missing a very fundamental aspect in this. Yes. So what is the issue with these points? Perfect. The question is on the overall local bodies. It's not limited to the question is not limited to the PRA. It is with respect to overall local bodies. And none of the example that we have given is related to the urban local body. You can never make that mistake. If they have asked you question on the local bodies, you have to give the example of urban local bodies as well. Okay? Is it clear? So you can give the parastatal bodies or the same issues. Okay? Is it clear? And then pros and cons of. Is the framework clear for questions on good governance? Yes? Yes, you can give. But at least one has to be there. Okay? Then pros and cons of merging. What are the pros of merging? Okay. What else? Social mobility. Okay. What else? कैसे? ब्यूरोक्रेसी तो उतनी ही रहेगी. Yes. Yes. See here. First, you simply follow the temporal aspect. With respect to policy making, what will happen? It will result into integrated policy formulation for both urban and rural areas. Integrated policy making. Okay. What else? With respect to, yes, consolidation of developmental plans also you can mention. Yes. Yes. Consolidation of developmental plans. What is the next step? After policy formulation, what is the next step in temporal approach? Policy implementation. So what will be the benefit in policy implementation? Efficient resource management, right? Resource management. Okay. What will be the next? Good. Improving quality of services. Right? As an example, simply you can give the common examples also. Okay. Quality of services with respect to the access to the urban healthcare and education. Okay. Or improving infrastructural connectivity. Okay. What else? What is the next step? Feedback. Yes. Mainstreaming of remote areas to prevent forced migration. Good. Realizing Sarvodaya, you can mention it into the conclusion. Yes. What is the third step into the temporal approach? We have talked about policy formulation, implementation. Third is monitoring. Yeah, how does monitoring happen? Yes, through greater citizen participation. Okay, so better monitoring through enhanced citizen participation. Okay, and then cons. What are the cons? Yes. So what is the framework that I had given for the pros and cons? Yes. So see, with respect to urban local bodies, whenever you are highlighting the issues, always focus upon three aspects. 3F: fund, function, functionaries. Okay? With respect to funds, okay, it may lead to the greater tax burden on the rural areas. Okay? Fund. Can someone share the framework for pros and cons? So for pros, you will be following the temporal approach: policy formulation, implementation, monitoring. Okay? And for cons, you will be following 3F: fund, function, functionaries. Okay? So with respect to the funds, increase tax burden on rural areas, okay, because of their integration with the urban areas. Okay. Second, it may also increase strain on urban resources. Okay. So there are two issues with respect to the fund. So with respect to the functions, yes, what will be the issue with respect to the functions? So first you can talk about one size fits for all approach. Yes, greater centralization. That is one size fits for all approach. Okay. One size approach fits for all approach. Neglecting local needs. So tax burden point. So you go into the rural areas, you don't have to pay any tax. There is very minimal property tax. Okay. So there is very minimal tax in the rural areas. Whereas in urban areas, you have the multiplicity of the taxes that you have to pay. Okay, so same taxes and tax rates will be applicable on the rural areas. Okay. So with respect to functions, one size fits for all approach. With respect to functionaries, bureaucratic resistance. Okay. That's it. You have 4 points. Upper 4 and there 8. So total 8 and 8, 16. And then you provide brief way forward. Okay. What will be the key way forwards with respect to the PRIs? Yes. The one way forward is with respect to the institutions. Always mention strengthening district planning committees as the instrument of the developmental planning. First. Okay. Second, enhance. So with respect to the way forward, one, district planning committees. Second, with respect to economic, enhance own resource share. Okay. So with respect to the panchayats, if panchayats are spending 100 rupees, the share of their own resources is less than 1 rupee. 99 rupees they are getting from the grants from the central and state governments. With respect to the ULB also, it is around 28% something. Okay, so you have to increase it to the higher level. Okay, this can be done by enhancing taxation powers. Okay. Yes. Then third, state finance commission should be regularized. Okay. Then you provide the conclusion. Come on, we have completed only 5. So what will be the conclusion? In conclusion, you simply link it to the Gandhian Swaraj. Thus, strengthening the local bodies is essential in realizing Gandhian Swaraj.